Let me tell you two stories, two events from my life that I will carry to my own grave. Stories that changed me forever. The first is about my mother's death and how she taught me with a smile on her face that there's absolutely nothing to fear about dying. She was in the hospital, her heart was failing. We, her children, gathered by her side, thinking it was time. But instead of fear, we saw something else on her face. She opened her eyes, looked at us, and said, "I have good news for you," smiling. I just experienced a taste of my life force leaving my body, and it is the most beautiful feeling ever. I floated out of my heavy old body. I felt light, free, and all the burdens lifted. She said that with so much peace, like someone who had just come back from a vacation in heaven. And I believed her, not because she was my mother, but because I saw the truth in her eyes. Like she was passing the information to us kids, not to worry about death. Years later, I had a heart attack, and on the way to the hospital, I didn't fight it. I let go. And in that letting go, I felt it. That same bliss my mother spoke of. When you're close to your death, you don't think of regrets. You feel your whole life compressed into one truth. Did I live with peace inside me or not? The second story is from my childhood in India, about my great-grandfather. Obviously, I never met him. He was a man who lived passionately, born into Christianity, but spent most of his life on a spiritual path, wandering, learning, practicing yoga. And one day, when he felt ready, he called a few of his students, spread a mat on the floor, head facing east, sat in deep meditation for an hour, and left the body, just like that. No sickness, no accident, just stillness. And his last words, "Let ignorance fall and the light come in." To this day, the villagers talk about it. Some called it crazy, some called it divine. But to me, it was the most powerful expression of yogic truth I've ever known. In the yogic tradition, this is called Mahasamadhi, a conscious, intentional exit, not running from life, but choosing when to leave with full awareness. Imagine that level of freedom. Imagine knowing death not as an end, but as a doorway, a union, a return. We don't talk about death. We avoid it. We fear it. But in India, there are temples where people go to simulate their own death experience, lying down like a corpse, letting their loved ones perform funeral rites so they can fully understand what it means to leave this body while still alive. And after that, they live differently. They live more honestly, more joyfully, because death teaches you what really matters. This is why I believe the moment of death is the most important time of your life. Because everything you have ever lived for, every action, thought, and feeling comes back to meet you during the final hour. And if you have lived with truth and love, you will pass in peace. You will experience heaven. But if you lived with guilt, resentment, lies, that moment becomes hell. So what if we lived today with that final hour in mind? Not in fear, but in clarity, in compassion, in honesty. Because how we die is how we have truly lived. Namaste.